We fell, and we fell, and we fell. Then suddenly, we landed. My eyes were closed. I was on top of something like a diving board. It was bouncing up and down, and my hands were wrapped around it. I opened my eyes. 30 feet below me was water. Dark, raging, rolling water. Someone yelled behind me,
"It's a girl. There's a girl on the plank."
I got to my feet and realized at once that was a terrible mistake. I was bouncing up and down, my body completely unsteady. It was definitely like a diving board, except instead of extending over a pool, it was over a dark and raging sea. It was a plank. I was on a plank. And in standing up, I almost fell off and into the water below. Crouching once more to steady myself, I turned myself around and then stood again, more slowly this time. In front of me was a man wearing a black hat and an eye patch, and behind him was a crew of rough-looking men wearing old-timey clothes. They were all standing on a ship, an old wooden ship. A red flag flew from the mast. "You're pirates?" I said.
"Aye, missy. And this is our ship, and you're on it. Or more to the point, you're on the plank. Now why would that be?"
I started to shake, and then the pirate, standing next to old Eye Patch, pointed to something at my feet.
"She's got a book."
"Book?" I spun around and looked down. The book was right there, also on the plank. I reached down to grab it. But just at that moment, the ship rocked horribly. I grabbed both sides of the plank and held on for dear life. The book wasn't so lucky. I watched in slow motion as the book fell and tumbled into the sea below. "No!" I screamed. I turned around, panicking.
"We found 2 more stowaways."
A fat pirate appeared behind the others. He was holding Henry and Toad by the scruffs of their necks and was pushing them towards Mr. Eye Patch. "Henry, Toad!" I yelled. "Are you okay?" Henry wrinkled his nose.
"As long as Sailor smells a lot lets go of us, then yes, we should be fine."
I looked once more down to the ocean below. To my amazement, the book was still there. It was floating on the surface. But with the way the waves were rolling over each other, I knew it wouldn't be afloat for long. I looked back at Henry, then at Toad. I gave Toad a weak smile. He smiled back. Then I did the only thing I could do. I jumped. The plank was higher above the water than I expected, but not as high as the cliff we'd jumped off in Colorado. Before I knew it, I'd hit the water. I think I was expecting it to be cold. It was not, just cool and painful. I sank below the water immediately, then did a flutter kick to bring myself back up to the surface. A wave immediately hit me in the face, and I swallowed a mouthful of salt water. I panicked, but as soon as I realized I was freaking out, I took a breath, then purposely went back under the water to regroup. I kicked my legs again and rose to the surface. And this time, I kept my mouth closed and rode the next wave that crashed into me. Then I remembered why I had jumped. The book. I searched around for it. In the distance, I heard voices. "April!" Henry was screaming. "Over there!" Toad shouted. I wondered where "over there" was. I swiveled my head as best I could. That's when I saw the book, just for a moment, riding on top of a rolling wave before another wave came by and crashed into it. I had to get to that book. My dad had taken me swimming in New Jersey, but that was always relegated to an area not far from shore. I'd definitely never swum in the middle of the ocean before, yet still, I could almost hear my dad's voice. The advice was different than when I was in the river. In the raging rapids of white water, it was best to swim with the current. But in an ocean,